They didn't need more orders. They needed better ones. And I guess that's the first mental shift I want you to make. Stop chasing more and start defining what. Welcome to Clicked Off, the place for e-commerce merchants who want growth without the guesswork. I'm Jason Chappell, founder of Defiant and creator of e-commerce growth made easy. Over the years, I've helped countless e-commerce brands grow, working with businesses all the way from 0 to over 50 million. Each week, I'll break down what's working, what's not, and how you can grow smarter without the fluff. Now, I actually tried to record this episode yesterday. I'd set up, got myself comfortable, mic on, and then this thunderstorm rolled in and knocked all the power out. And I ended up just sat here in the dark. I'd be lying if I didn't say I sat here for about 10 minutes, just enjoying the peace and quiet. But anyways, we're all back on, so let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking about planning for growth. And I mean actual planning, not goal setting or wishing. So by the end of this episode, you'll have a plan for growth that you'll be able to go and start executing today. If you want to grow your e-commerce brand, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what does growth actually mean for you? Now, when I ask founders this, I'm usually met with silence or vague answers like more sales or more orders. And for the ones that stay silent, that usually means they don't know. Or as one founder actually said to me, I just want more. So growth often feels like one of those things that we should be doing. And I guess just for the record, you 100% should be planning for growth. But here's the thing. You can't hit a target that you haven't defined. So think about it like this. Actually, I'm going to tell you a story. A brand I spoke to earlier this year said their goal was more sales, which I guess sounds reasonable, right? But when we dug deeper, it turned out what they really wanted was profit growth. They were already doing pretty healthy revenue numbers, but after costs, they had almost nothing left. They didn't need more orders. They needed better ones. And I guess that's the first mental shift I want you to make. Stop chasing more and start defining what. So I promised you this would be a practical episode. And now you've got some work to do. Grab yourself a notebook or open up a fresh document somewhere and write down these 4 questions. What does growth mean for you? It could be anything. Increased revenue, increased profit, more customers. There's no wrong answer, but you can only pick one. Remember, I want to get you unstuck, so let's not chase too many rabbits. The next question is, what's your timeline for growth? This year? Next year? The next 3 years? Be realistic. If it's a big goal, are you going to hit it this year? Or is that a 3-year goal that we need to chunk down into something smaller? Okay, question 3 is, are you working towards selling your brand? Or are you looking for long-term sustainability? How you answer this will change everything and impact the moves that you make with your business. If you're looking to grow and operate your business for the long haul, you're going to make some very different moves to someone who's looking to exit their business in the next 3 years. Oh my goodness, you have to forgive me. I'm real froggy today. And the last question you need to ask yourself is, what's most important to you right now? Is it speed, profit, cash flow maybe, or even market share? You'll be able to adjust these from year to year as the business evolves and changes. But you need to focus for that period of time on one goal for growth. Think of it like this: planning a journey or reading a map, maybe. First, you need to know where you are. Without that, you can't plan your route. Then you decide where you want to get to. For some of you, that might be just down the road, like steady, manageable growth. For others, it's the equivalent of crossing the country, like a big, ambitious leap. Next, you've got to set your timeline. When do you want to get there? That choice changes everything about the route you take. In the real world, you've got options. You could fly and get there fast, but it's usually expensive. Or you could drive and pace yourself. You could even cycle or walk, taking it slow and steady to keep costs down. Each option has trade-offs around speed, cost, and effort. And along the way, you need to plan stops for fuel, food, and rest. In business, those stops are things like cash flow, inventory, and staffing. All the things that actually, ironically, keep you moving. Without this map, you're like the founder I mentioned earlier, who just wanted more. Moving, but who knows if it's in the right direction, hoping you'll eventually end up somewhere good. With it, you're in control. Take some time here to answer these questions and decide what you want for your brand. And once you've got these, you'll be ready to get started creating your own growth map. Now, before we start planning anything, you need to know your costs. And I'm afraid this isn't sexy, but it is essential. And I'll make it as painless as possible. We're going to start by splitting your costs into two types: variable costs and fixed costs. Your variable costs are the ones that only happen when you make a sale. Think shipping, transaction fees, fulfillment, pick and pack, those sorts of things. And fixed costs are costs that happen every month, no matter what. So salaries, rent, warehousing, insurance, that sort of stuff. Now, the next action for you to take is to create two lists in a spreadsheet. List every variable cost you have. So the costs you pay only when you sell something in one column. And list every fixed cost you pay, no matter what, in another column. Be honest, and don't forget things like agency retainers, email or SMS platform costs, and your own time. This is your cost base. It's what you need to cover just to stay afloat. It's no different from your household budgeting. You wouldn't spend money renovating without knowing your monthly mortgage or rent costs and your grocery bills. So don't try to grow your e-com store without first knowing all of your costs. Once you know your costs and your goals, it's time to connect the dots. But don't panic, and I'll keep it simple. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Here's what you need: your revenue target, how much you want to sell in the next 12 months, your COGS percentage, what percentage of revenue goes to producing or buying your products, your fixed monthly costs or OPEX, your variable costs per order, and your target profit margin, how much of that revenue you actually want to keep as net profit. Now here's where the magic happens. We're going to reverse engineer your growth plan in 5 easy steps. And I promised you a practical episode, so here it is. You might want to hit pause after each section so that you can run your own numbers, then hit play once you're ready to move on. So step 1, we're going to break your revenue target into orders. I'll give you an example so that you can do this for yourself, but feel free to write this down and calculate with me. Now, let's say your revenue target for the year is 1 million. And to make the maths easy, your average order value is 100. We're going to divide your revenue by your average order value to give us the total number of orders you'll need to hit. So that's 1 million divided by 100, which gives us 10,000 orders. Already you can start to see what needs to happen. If you want to do 1 million this year, you need 10,000 orders, which, depending on what you did last year, might be a huge leap or a small jump. But one of the questions you might want to ask yourself is, do I have enough cash to cover the stock needed for 10,000 orders? But we'll come to that in a minute. Step 2, we're going to convert your orders into website traffic. Now that you know how many orders you'll need to hit your goal, let's figure out how many website visitors it will take. Look at your current conversion rate. You can find this in your Google Analytics, Shopify, or any other platform you're using's dashboard. For this instance, let's say it's 2%. If you need 10,000 orders to hit your revenue goal of 1 million, and 2% of visitors that come to your site convert, here's the maths for the traffic you'll need to deliver. 10,000 orders divided by 0.02, the decimal version of 2%, which gives us 500,000. This means you'll need 500,000 website visitors converting 2% to deliver your 1 million target. If that number feels huge, don't panic. This is why we do this exercise, to set whether the growth goal you've set matches the traffic you can realistically generate. If 500,000 visitors feels impossible, there's 3 things you can do. You can either improve your conversion rate, increase your average order value, so you need fewer orders, or adjust your revenue goal. So let's move on to step 3. And this one is one of the most important and often overlooked steps when it comes to building your growth map. Profit. Now, a lot of people leave this until the end, but I want to get you paid and not leave it as an afterthought. So I'm bringing it up the agenda. Profit needs to be built into your plan from day 1, not something you hope will appear at the end of the year when it's all said and done. And it's really easy to account for. Start with your forecasted revenue. In my example, this was 1 million. And then decide on your net profit target as a percentage of that revenue. If I go for 10%, I'm earmarking 100,000 that I'm looking to make and keep at the end of the year. This approach flips the usual mindset on its head. Instead of profit is what's left, you're saying, this is how much profit I want, and I'll build my business around it. If when you run the numbers, your profit target leaves you feeling tight elsewhere, like marketing, and we'll talk about that in a minute, that's a signal not to cut profit, but to revisit other areas. Can any of your fixed costs be reduced? Do you need to improve or renegotiate your product costs? Or is your timeline just too aggressive? Pushing your profit up the agenda helps keep you from slipping into the busy but broke trap that is so easy to find yourself in. The place where sales are growing, but you've got nothing to show for it. And if you don't ring fence profit first, marketing and costs will expand to fill that gap, and you'll end up working for free. So Now that you've locked in your profit target, it's time for step number 4, working out your marketing budget. The maths should be getting easier now, and the simple answer goes like this. Subtract your COGS, fixed costs, and profit target from your revenue goal. Multiply your variable costs by the number of orders you're forecasting and subtract them too. This will give you your marketing budget for the year. So going back to my example, I'm going to subtract my COGS at 70% gross margin from my revenue target of 1 million, leaving me 700,000. I'm then going to take my fixed costs of say 200,000 from that, bringing me down to 500,000. Next, I subtract my desired profit of 10% or 100,000, giving me 400,000. And finally, my variable costs work out at say $10 per unit, which I multiply by the amount of orders I need to hit my target, which for me was 100,000. No, it wasn't. It was 10,000, giving me a total variable cost for the year of 100,000. When I take that from the 400,000 I had, I'm left with 300,000 to spend on marketing. This is the pot you'll use to fund all of your marketing, both new customer acquisition and retention. It's not just ads, it covers everything you spend to attract, convert, and keep customers. So all of the tools you use, agency fees, and any staff that work in marketing. This is the step where things often get real. By working this way, you're not guessing at what you can afford to spend on marketing. You're building a budget rooted in your goals and your actual numbers, not vibes or what everyone else is spending. And best of all, you've made sure you're making a profit. Let me paint a picture for you around this. Imagine each cost is a slice of your revenue pie. COGS, fixed costs, variables, and profit. Whatever's left once these slices are gone is your marketing slice. If it feels too thin, you don't steal from profit. You bake a bigger pie, i.e. increase your revenue, or try to trim the other slices, reducing your costs. This is the moment where your plan goes from aspirational to actionable. As we're nearly there, step 5 is where this exercise earns its keep. Sanity checking your goal. Ask yourself, do you have enough cash to buy stock for this level of orders? If hitting 10,000 orders means you need to order 300k of stock up front, do you have the cash or financing to do it? If you split this down into 3 or 4 orders throughout the year, if you don't have the funds released from your payment provider in time, can you bridge the gap? What happens to your operational costs if you grow this fast? At higher volumes, you may need more staff, more storage, better fulfillment. Your OPEX will go up, which eats into your margins. Another question you might want to ask is, can your current conversion rate and traffic channels deliver this? If you need 500,000 visitors, but last year you drove 150,000, what's your plan to close that gap? Do you need to adjust your goal? This is key. If the forecast says you'd need unrealistic traffic or cash flow to hit your goal, it's not failure, it's just data. You either adjust your target or adjust the levers. So like I promised you at the beginning of the episode, you should now have a growth roadmap you can start using today. If you want to use my forecasting template where I have this broken out for you, head over to eCommerce Growth Made Easy on School, where we go deep into this. We've got templates that make this easy with built-in calculators that tell you how much traffic you need, what your break-even point is, what your customer acquisition costs should be, and how much profit you'll actually make, all broken out month by month accounting for your brand's specific seasonality and sales cadence. Plus, I'll even help you adjust it so you're building something sustainable, not stressful. If you want access to those tools and the support that comes with it, come and join us at eCommerce Growth Made Easy. The link's in the show notes and it's free to get started. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe wherever you listen. It helps massively. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.